Hi guys. So just a quick update for today. Yeah, I'm gonna sink into this and won't be able to get out. We haven't done very much today except like checking out what the weather's going to be like tomorrow, and we'll talk about that at the end. But we did promise that we were going to very quickly talk about our actual trip here because a lot of people have been asking about that. I finished work on the 15th of December. Sandy had done so much in the way of packing and getting stuff ready to go.
Yes, but it didn't quite feel like it at the time because it felt like there was a lot getting packed leading up to your being done work, but then when you actually were and we continued with packing and selling stuff and everything else, then suddenly it didn't seem like it was very much.
Yeah, it became very quickly overwhelming. I mean, like 13
Yeah,
years of building up stuff and
yeah,
and we had to get rid of everything. I mean, we're going from a full house to a 26-foot fifth wheel,
yeah.
and everything that was important or that we needed in our lives had to be in here, and everything else had to be gotten rid of. So it was incredibly stressful. Cost us a little bit more than I'd intended. We
Yeah.
ended up having to get a junk service to come and take away garbage and stuff like that, which was really frustrating and expense.
And it
Um,
was just more, we were kind of crunched because of the situation
yeah,
there. We couldn't really well, again, we had initially wanted to do all of this in April and everything
yeah,
anyway, and then because of rent going up and sort of just the general situation with everything, we
yeah,
had to bump our plans back up here, and then that kind of meant that we had to be out on a time crunch,
yeah.
and moving. And then we also were trying to beat weather as best as we could,
We
which
could.
we've sort of done. We did it
Yeah,
on the trip here. We
so
pretty much
close.
beat the weather,
Yeah.
but now we're kind of stuck in
Now we're kind of stuck in
April.
it. So that's kind of been kind of frustrating. Fast forward to the 3rd of January when we actually left. Um, we traveled from Calgary. We left late in the day. We only left at 3 o'clock. We really wanted to leave early in the morning, and that just
Yeah,
didn't
there were a bunch of
happen.
random hiccups that day too
Yeah,
with the camper and
all that kind of
getting it
stuff.
hitched up properly and yeah,
Tires and blah
yes,
blah blah. Anyway, so we left at 3 o'clock and drove about 200 kilometers to Brooks, Alberta,
yeah,
and stayed the night there at the Flying J. Not in the camper because it was packed from back to front.
yeah.
So we were sleeping in the cabin of the truck. Um, so that was pretty uncomfortable.
It was. See, I didn't mind it the first night though. It
Yeah.
was kind of like, oh, this is a fun little adventure, and it's different. Haven't really done this before in terms of traveling across anywhere. So like, yeah, it wasn't too bad, but it wasn't exactly comfortable either.
No.
Or
I mean,
yeah,
like sleeping for a bit and then sort of waking up every 2 hours to run the truck for half an hour just to get
things
some
heated up
heated up
and
again and then, go back to sleep again for, an hour and a half and do that again. But I mean, still got a decent sleep, all things considered.
yeah,
It was a little bit foggy the next morning when we left. Um, I can't remember what time it was, but it was quite early. I want to say like by 7:30 or so we were on the
yeah, I
road,
think so.
and then we ended up driving into Saskatchewan. We stopped off briefly at Moose Jaw
Yeah.
because I have a picture of the moose. I remember that, and actually had Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is so hard to get to when you have a 40-foot long vehicle because you
Yes.
can't pull into their parking lot because half the time you can't turn around. So,
Yeah.
so we missed every Tim Hortons along the way except for that one. But
Yeah.
even then, Sandy walked across the road to go. Um, but we ended up that night in, um, you tell me because I can't remember.
Balcony.
Balgony. That's right. We stayed in Balgony in another truck stop. A worse night than the previous night
Yeah.
because it was like super busy. Like we were sandwiched in between trucks, really tight. And whenever we woke up, like you could smell exhaust fume. Like it just didn't go anywhere because of the fog. I think
Yeah.
it was so cold, and so then when you run the truck, and now you've got exhaust fume coming in and stuff like that. So We left there super early because it was supposed to start snowing at 7 a.m. We left at 4:30
Yeah.
that morning, and by 5 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, we were just absolutely wiped.
Yeah.
Um, and we pulled off for gas, and I messaged, someone messaged and said, "How's it going?" And I told them, and they said, "Look, find a little inn along the way, and I'll cover it," which was really generous, and thank you very much for that. So we stayed at a little place called the Richer Inn in Richer, Manitoba. Um, it was a quaint little place.
Yeah, I liked it.
It was very nice, but it was nice to have a bed and a warm bed and a shower for the night. It was great.
Yeah.
The next day,
We started a bit later again because
Yeah.
we didn't need to check out till 11, and we
Yeah.
were both kind of recovering from 2 nights of truck stops and so forth, and driving through the fog and the
Yeah.
dark, and yeah.
Yeah, I don't like driving. Like, and we sort of made this rule that we're not going to drive at night, but we end up doing it anyway
Yes.
For a bit. But anyway, so we left Richard quite late. We really should have left way earlier. But what happened was we ended up getting through Kenora, stopping briefly in Dryden for gas, although we did have to pull off, I think, in Kenora for gas.
Yeah.
That's right. We pulled off in Kenora for gas. The truck gas mileage was terrible because it was so cold.
Yeah.
Stopped in Dryden for gas, and there was nowhere to stop and stay the night in Dryden, and the snow was starting to catch up with us. Excuse me. So we decided to press on to Thunder Bay. And if you've ever driven that road, it's a single lane each way with little places to overtake. But it's uphill, downhill, side hill, corners. It was
Yeah.
like a roller coaster ride the whole way. And I'll cut a very long story short because it can be very vocal about this. But the power hitch, or the camper's power hitch, came undone halfway through in the dark, while we're going up and down these.
That was the extension for it.
Yeah.
Loose, so we were still able to use it ultimately.
Ultimately, fortunately, but for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, we were driving without lights or brakes on the camper, uphill, downhill, around these corners with these enormous trucks coming past us. It was quite terrifying.
And nowhere to pull off.
Yeah,
that's
the hardest thing.
Otherwise, but
Nothing.
There were no stops.
No stops. There's no signs. There's no nothing. So anyway, we did eventually pull over, get the lights and the brakes working again, and made it to Thunder Bay around 11 o'clock. Stayed with some really good friends, which was amazing for the night. Good night's rest. And then back on the road the next day. We ended up in Long Lac,
Yes.
Ontario. It was very nice to have gotten through on the worst part of the drive was that first part of Ontario, but the drive to Long Lac was actually quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of trees and lots of
lakes
and stuff. It was really, really pretty. And once again, a generous friend said, "Look, get a good night's rest." The only place that we could find was the motel, and it was
fine.
It was
I mean,
fine.
it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, I think the whole town shuts down at 9 o'clock. Though.
Yes.
Everything shut down at 9 o'clock, and everything opened at 9 o'clock. That was it. There was like nothing else. Even like the front desk at the hotel, they closed at 9 o'clock, and there's just no one there. It's just locked. So that was interesting. And then the last day was driving through. So the longest sort of stretch with nothing is Long Lac to Hearst. That was about 2.5 hours, filled up with gas, and then another 2.5 hours to where we are now, which is Cochrane, Ontario. We're just outside of Cochrane, Ontario. So that's
we're about an hour from our actual property.
And about an hour from our actual property. So that's where we are, and that's where we've been sort of for the last week, and you guys have been following along with the whole heat issue. So I'll quickly update you on that because I know we're running out of time.
I'm going to say though before too,
yes.
Just part of the whole thing of because we were actually going to catalog all of this and video it and everything while we were doing the thing, but there's a lot of just little extras and stresses that come along that you're not planning on, and your focus kind of just sort of shifts
totally
to let's
goes.
just get there alive and in one piece, and that's
Especially
okay.
the white knuckle part.
Unfortunately,
For me.
I mean, we did get some good photos and stuff, and some clips which we'll post at some point soon, of just sort of the scenery along the way. But yeah, just wanted to give our excuses for why there wasn't like a full on, nicely glossed over video of our entire journey here. Right
And I think,
now,
I mean,
but...
the thing is, there were a couple of cuss words too, like especially driving down that pass. I'm like white knuckling the whole way, especially with no brakes and lights. But anyway, so here we are, and we still have no heat. Well,
we do have heat.
We do have heat. We do
just
not
not
have
the one that we wanted to have.
furnace. So the local technician, as we said yesterday, was a bust. He was unable to help us, but have actually located a motor and the fan that we need.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it's in the States, and it's $150 plus shipping, US, and we don't have an address, so we're trying to figure out that. So we can't even order the part to replace ourselves, which I'm sure we can figure out. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, it doesn't look incredibly complicated.
It's like 3 wires and a fan. So I mean, we can probably do that, but it's just a matter of actually getting the part. So that's sort of like on hold. However, tomorrow the weather's supposed to be relatively clear,
and the temperatures have gone up here too. There's harsh winds today, but we're not feeling the same deep chill, I find, as yesterday.
Well, I mean, it was minus 19 yesterday. Today it's minus 9.
It got up to,
So that's quite a significant.
But anyway,
thing.
Weather's getting better tomorrow.
Anyway, weather's getting better tomorrow. We're going to go to Matheson, which is the town that's on a good day, 20 minutes drive from the property. We're going to try and see if we can set up a mailbox there, so at least we have an address to send stuff to. And we're going to try and see how close we can get to the property. And like I said in yesterday's video, it's about 9 kilometers from the plowed road to the entrance to the property. So I don't know if we'll get that far, but we will actually try and film some of this tomorrow. I don't know how soon we can upload that, but we'll certainly try with some on the phones. It's really hard because I can't edit this video on there. So anyway, wanted to say that we are okay. We're warm. Thank you so much to all of those people that have commented or sent us messages personally between the two of us, or to both of us through the page on Facebook. And commented here on the videos as well. Thank you so much for all of your support. Those who have reached out and sent us PayPal or e-transfers here in Canada, thank you. It really is appreciated. We love you guys. We love that so many people are following and supporting us, and we'll try and keep you posted on it in a daily video. Yesterday's video took 3.5 hours to upload. We'll see how long this one takes, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so that you know when we post our next video. So until next time, thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.